sunk in a little bit more now that you're practicing and getting ready to host UC's very first regional?
Yeah, you know what? Actually, ironically, we've had more practices, I think, this week than we've had in a long time. But just having all of our employees here and our staff getting the Plex ready it's exciting. It's fun. The girls have smiles on their face. They love seeing all the NCAA stuff go up and the bleachers go up, and so it's a fun time.
What's the challenge in shifting from the enthusiasm to practicing and taking this serious this week?
Yeah, you know, we've had some good practices, like I said, and just the ability to have that time and less travel time and whatnot. But we've had those talks of, like, we're gonna take a second, we're gonna check it all out, and then a big thing for us is we love the arena, not the attention. And so sometimes we get away from that, especially with all of the things that are going on this week. And so we just remind ourselves and get back together. You know, we have our pre-practice meetings, and we've just been talking about, like, what's gotten us here and where we want to keep going. And I asked them again, like, okay, you guys, you're hosting a regional. That was one of our goals. I mean, we can just say, like, okay, good, let's just play. And they said, no, we've got some more goals. And so we talked about those, and, you know, we got after it in our light and delayed practice, just working real hard in the cages right now.
What's the scouting report on Villanova? I know they didn't give up a run at all in their conference tournament.
Yeah. So their pitcher was hot as far as, you know, in the circle, and I think that's huge. She's a great two-way player. You know, they've played here before. They put some runs up against us and got the game into like a pretty close game. I think it was 7-3, but they had some runners on with a big hitter up. So I think really for us it's just playing our game, putting the game in motion, and, you know, letting our offense work for us.
Sunday night, Gianna said it'd be nice to sleep in her own bed all week. Talk about the importance of that home field advantage.
Yeah, you know, that is huge. It has been nice to sleep in our own beds. But, you know, as a coach, I told them, because there's a quick turnaround on some of these days and these games, and I said, the perfect world is we're in a hotel, we get to meet and stay together and, you know, get to bed at a certain time and make sure we're doing all of that. But I want them to enjoy this, and so we just talk about what really good decisions are in this moment, in these moments. We have a lot of family coming out, and so, you know, they're on board too to make sure that we stay in our routine. But you know, outside of that, sleeping in your own bed is always good.
Have you heard about the demand for tickets? Obviously, it sold out really quickly. Are you hearing it from alums and everyone that wants to be here?
Yeah, you know, we're hearing it from, you know, the other teams, alums as well. You know, it's an awesome feeling to, I don't even know how long it was up for, but I see, like, okay, tickets are going up on Tuesday and they're already sold out. I was like, what? Holy cow. So it's awesome what they're doing to put more seating out. I know we have a standing room only in left field that's going to be exciting, and I mean, can't say enough about Night Nation, and I think you're going to see a lot of black and gold in the stands.
Helps make the case for renovations and continued improvements here?
Yes. Well, what's cool is our administration, and, you know, you got to see Coach Z out here, and our SWA Abby and our AD Terry, they've been talking about it. They know that they want to do those things. They're the ones saying it, and I think this is just one step moving in that direction. They're bought into what we're doing here. They want this to be a traditional thing, and so it's exciting, and, you know, we'll keep taking notes and writing things down and getting better every time.
Coach, you mentioned that hosting the regionals was a goal for the team before the season even started. How important was that to even have that then? And then I got to ask, what are the goals coming out of this weekend?
Yeah. So, well, as far as this goal of hosting, a lot of it came down to scheduling. And so this has been something we've done the last couple of years. Our schedules have been pretty intense. And, you know, the elephant in the room, we graduate Aaliyah White and some of our power, our home run power, and you think, okay, you put up this crazy schedule, what are you thinking? But we talk about leaving it better than you found it, and that senior class left it in a really good spot, and we brought some good freshmen in and a couple good transfers. So you know, just having that be a goal in an everyday language, and it coming from the team. You know, we may have sparked the idea a couple of years ago, but it's been something that they've kept in their minds. And then as far as their goals moving forward, we're going to play one pitch at a time, one game at a time, but our forward vision is getting to the super regionals, and then the next step, like they want to play until the last game is played in NCAA softball.
Coach, have you talked to anyone about the weather forecast for this weekend? Baseball has just moved up their schedule to play a doubleheader on Thursday. So have you had a chance to look at that yet?
We haven't talked about that. That's kind of out of our hands. We'll have our meeting tomorrow because teams are just traveling in today, and practice schedule is for tomorrow. And we'll leave it to the regional directors and the people that above our pay grades in those environments to make those decisions. So I feel good that they'll do whatever they need to do to make the regional run well.
Obviously hosting a regional going to the Big 12 next year, how does that continued development help from a recruiting standpoint?
Yeah, recruiting has been awesome. We have our recruits that are committed, signed and what have you, and they're happy and proud to be a Knight. And it's the pitch we gave to them. When I said I was coming here, and I told the administration, all right, 5 years we'll host a regional. And so, like I said, this group's not as patient, and so they did it in 4. And so it just helps with the brand that we're talking about with our game, with our program, and really speaks to our culture. I mean, if you look at the team that we have and like how we go about things, it might be a little different than others, but our culture is huge. It's very important to me, and we talk about like, okay, you can get here doing it this way and being team oriented.
And what's the confidence level right now with the players?
Yeah, we have to bring them down a bit. No, I'm just kidding. No, they're confident, and what's awesome about them is they're also great human beings, and so I think they have the opportunity to walk the talk. And we talk about this group. They're very popular at our football games. Like, we have this section 102, and we talk about that, and they wear the flashiest outfits and everything else. And so that's really been something we've talked about as a group, is like, that's how you need to act out there, right? And so they're walking it, and I love it. They've got their chins high, they've got their smiles on, they're ready to roll.
In what ways is your team different than when you played Michigan earlier this year?
Oh gosh, very different. I'm gonna say, especially our shortstop Lala Macario. I mean, this team put a lot of balls in play towards her, and I think if she could have that game back, like, I haven't even talked to her personally about it, but that week in St. Pete really defined what Lala was going to be about. Like, it was a tough week, tougher playing surface, a lot of balls hopped her way, and the next week she makes Sports Center top 10 plays, and she's just really turned it on since then. And so I think that was a huge defining moment, and it really happened in that Texas game for her. So I think that's a huge one for me. Our pitchers, I didn't throw Gianna a lot in that week. She was kind of had like a little nagging deal starting earlier in the year. And so we kind of rested her, and it really went in our favor, maybe not in that week, but later on in the season. And so I would just say our team has learned from it, definitely. They talk about it being one of the toughest moments, and I was like, it was literally 6 games, guys. It's not that big of a deal. But for them, losing 4 games out of 6 is like, they don't do it often here. And so it meant more to this program than I even imagined and realized. Like, they got after it in their lonely work, and then they saw, okay, these are the things we need to do to be able to perform and compete at that level.
Coach,
Hutchings, obviously in this regional, the all-time leader in wins in Division I. What has she meant to you from a coaching perspective, and how well do you know her? Did you compete against her when you were a player against her?
Sure. So as a player, played against her when she was coaching, because just the utmost respect for her. She's, like you said, the winningest coach out there, and her teams, just the way that they perform in postseason, are awesome. I mean, she got her team to really put it to Washington, and they had to, do some tough stuff last year to get through that regional. And so it just speaks to what she's done with that program time in and time out. I mean, it's been a winning program for many, many years, ever since I can remember. And then on top of it, like, I like to pride myself for being a player's coach and kind of being hip, and she's got some good TikToks out there. So I'm gonna say, like, I feel like I try to compete with her, and I even told her at one of our recruiting events, like, hey, you got to slow down. Like, you're making us like look bad. You know, you're doing that, and this is, you know, closer to my generation of things, and I'm trying to keep up with you. But she just laughed and said that we all should do one together as a coach, like all the coaches recruiting out there. So, but yeah, awesome woman in our sport. Just has done some amazing things, and you know, she just keeps going. So it's like, just to see someone win that, you know, that many years, like, she's doing a lot of good things and a lot of things right.
This is a star-studded pitching staff regional. I mean, it's one of the top 3 in the country as far as regionals pitching-wise. Villanova's got Paige Route. South Dakota State's got a couple of, you know, conference pitcher of the years. Big Michigan has the 2 All-Americans. We got the staff. You've talked about efficient offense. This is what it's about, isn't it, in the regionals? Being efficient offensively, because you're not going to get a ton of opportunities against great pitching.
Yeah. Well, I knew it was good, but Elo, that sounds even tougher to hit. But no, I mean, that's what it comes down to in postseason. You're going to have pitchers that have incredible movement, good off speeds, and then hitters that, you know, come out of those regionals they have the ability to hit the off speed, they have the ability to lay off the rise ball, and put the ball in play. And it might come down to a bunt, it might come down to a sacrifice fly, it may come down to just putting pressure on defense. And so I think you're going to see a lot of that in the games here with all of the teams. They all have a little bit of power, some of them have speed, and like you said, all of them have great pitching staff.
Coach Gasso complimented you, said you played a great schedule, you earned the seat. A lot of people in the softball world have complimented you and really happy for you. What does that make you feel, that really the softball community is happy for you and happy for the UCF program to get this opportunity?
Yeah, just hearing people talk about it. I mean, I think the committee did it, and I'm not just saying this because I'm at UCF and we're hosting, but the committee did a really good job with this bracket. I mean, there's a lot of parity in it, and to hear people talk about, you know, wanting it to be that way, and I guess rewarding people that are doing like the whole body of work, like they've been saying, it's just a great feeling to have, and to know that, you know, we have that support out in the community, and it's not just like who it is and where it is, but you know, it's going to the team that earns it and deserves it.
Coach, I was talking to one of this program's alumni earlier today, and she talked about actually how you know the RPI and how you know and you assemble a schedule that can help reward that. And so, just following up on what Elo said, how prepared do you feel like this team is now that they've been through the schedule that you've assembled, including one game against Michigan, and now they're in the same regional?
Yeah, well, there's a lot of math that goes into it with those, like the 3-year RPI, and like, because you have a team that can be down 1 year, up 1 year, and I mean, we've been blessed in having somebody that was involved with the committee, a part of our athletic department in years past, that would come and teach our athletes what that meant. And so, you know, I think the biggest thing that, you know, would happen here sometimes, and it even happened in my first year, we'd have like a really good win, right? We'd beat Ohio State, and then the next game we wouldn't come out and play the game that we needed to play. And on paper, we're supposed to win that game. And what does that mean anymore? Like, anybody can beat anybody on any given day. The game does not know. But they've just done a really good job of understanding every game matters, right? And probably too much. Like, they'll talk about, what's this RPI? And I'm like, just go play the game. We're playing Sally, you know? And so, but for them to understand that and know the process that it takes, because to be us and host a regional for the very first time, you know, we had to break through some of that stuff, and so we had to know those things. We had to talk about those things, and we have some very smart individuals. I just got done watching right before practice Jada Cody's TikTok, and all of them are talking about, like, well, we have the RPI, we've done the work. I'm like, I don't even know if I knew what RPI was when I played. An RBI, maybe? That's what I knew, you know? So it's just interesting how they can be students of the game, how mature they are, and we can talk about those things, and they can still play as free as they do.
A lot of the alumni coming in this weekend, like Shelby Trainer said, she was in tears when the UCF name came up. Coach Gillespie texted me to congratulate. She got in tears because for this program, it's always been, well, you're going to go to Gainesville, Tallahassee. What is it? Did you see this vision when you came here, that this was possible? What was it that you saw?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, like honestly, and I'm gonna point, like when I came out here to check out this school and decide, am I gonna move my family across the country? Because never in a million years would I ever think that I was gonna live in Florida and move away from my entire family, right? And the stadium was closed. We got dropped off at the hotel and we got our rental car and we sat out in that right field over there. And I just said, I need a moment. And I just went out and I'm checking out the stadium and seeing, and I'm like, okay, have the vision, have the big picture. Like, what's this place gonna look like in 5 years? What are you gonna be able to do here in 10 years? And I saw it, right? And you know, we're in Orlando. It's the most visited city in the nation. It's the I think one of the biggest growing cities in the nation. And so you get on campus, it recruits itself, right? But just the program, like I didn't come here and have to like totally rebuild this program. It was left with Aaliyah White in the circle, and that was my first question: who's the pitcher, right? And doing my homework, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can win a lot of games still with that. And so, you know, Coach G did such a good job in her time here of putting this place on the map and doing what she did. And so for me, it was, you know, being able to take pride and like, again, she left it in a good spot, and then now like adding maybe like a little bit of my spice or seasoning to it, and now we've got a real good like pasta dish, I guess, with some good spaghetti sauce. But but it you know, our alum, like just the amount of people that text me and just the support that we've had throughout the year. We've had so many people come out and watch us. You know, you have Natalie Land up at ECU, just coming out on the field and seeing us with our trophy. You got Mackenzie Otis that was at the USF series. You got, you know, Allison Kime that was there as well. And I'm sorry I'm not using their married names. I'm using more of their softball names. But there's so many more. You know, you got the Avari sisters that have come out. I got to meet the first pitching two-way pitcher here, Dottie Cup, right? So yeah, so it's just been awesome. And then Steph Best, like I'm not even mentioning, like, you know, the person that Jada Cody has been chasing, right? It's just there's so many of them, and I know that I haven't been able to mention all of them. Like you mentioned, Shelby's going to come out as well. It's just awesome to have all those big names and know that we were able to make them proud. And that was what I told them. Like, our goal is for you guys to be in that front row in Oklahoma City, acting like crazy fools and getting on ESPN. Like, that's our goal, and that's our goal for you to be proud of this program and still be proud to be a part of Night Nation.
Perfect. Thank you, Coach.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you.